This is absolutely the most shocking video and really content that I've ever covered about VA disability claims, Shark specifically with Veterans Guardian. So what we're going to do is pull this up here. Let me fix my angle real quick. Here we go. So this is sealed. Scrolling down here, you'll see the plaintiff, Leslie Carrico, and then the defendant is Veterans Guardian VA Claims Consulting LLC and Scott Greenblatt, which is the founder. Now I'm gonna skip down to the bottom here because there's a factor that really shows why this is more shocking than the others. So in May of 2019, Relator was given a raise for good performance. Soon thereafter, Relator began to express her concern over the dishonest methods being employed by the defendants to prepare applications for clients. So she worked for Veterans Guardian. That's the issue here. She expressed her views to one coworker, who then reported Relator's views to William Taylor. Ali Hill shared Relator's concerns and discussed them with Relator. In June, during a company-wide meeting, Relator was called out, I hope I'm saying her name right, for her disability, or as she's referred to, okay? An employee was also assigned to watch her documents. Also around this time, Relator began refusing to forge signatures. So going up here, we're not going to read the entire thing, just the highlights, okay? Essentially, Veterans Guardian is committing fraud. At least that's what this is. That's what the allegations are for. So, however, are wholly grounded in fraud with a singular focus on getting veterans to assign the 100% P&T level of disability. The government has been deceived into paying millions of dollars in unwarranted disability payments. What I'm going to do is link this below so you can download it for yourself, because obviously I'm going to be skipping around because this document is absolutely huge. But in broadest outline, Veterans Guardian finds a mental disability, typically depression disorder due to chronic pain syndrome. Okay, defendants rely on the diagnosis of a mental disability to obtain that 100% P&T disability level for each veteran, regardless of whether the veteran has a psychologically based disability and regardless of the extent of any such disability. Okay, so what's being said here is Veterans Guardian is aiming for mental health disabilities to push veterans to the 100% P&T mark, specifically secondary to chronic pain. Defendants' business model is presented with fraud and deceit. Defendants refer their clients to a group of individuals who conduct psychological exams remotely. This group is led by Dr. Gregory Villarosa and includes individuals who lack the educational and clinical background mandated under federal law to conduct these exams. That's the issue there. Who lack the educational and clinical background mandated under federal law to conduct these exams. That's absolutely insane to me. The documentation which Villarosa prepares, all indeed the documentation, packet materials defendants submit to the VA is largely auto-populated with diagnosis and symptoms. The disability level assigned, listen to this, the disability level assigned to the patient by the examiner is never below 50%, ever. Okay, I'm not saying those who use Veterans Guardian are 100% fraud, all of them, but what this is saying that there's never been a mental health rating from Veterans Guardian below 50%, according to these allegations here. That is a huge indication and warning of fraud. And I think that's objective. I think everyone on this planet could at least agree to that. Using a 4-person team composed of 2 certified nursing assistants and 2 employees with no background in providing healthcare, a disability is simply chosen based upon physical symptoms the veteran has previously complained about. So looking at that secondary to chronic pain. Veterans Guardian appeals enjoy a success rate approaching 99%. So sure, Veterans Guardian absolutely helps veterans. They also take and rake from those profits 5 times the increase, right? But hey, veterans are getting service connected And here's a 99% rate, which is absolutely insane. Okay. Veterans Guardian, in essence, hijacks the application process, wresting control of it from the veteran in order to use a fraud-laden business model, which the defendants deliberately engineered to ensure that the defendants will enjoy the largest commission possible. Indeed, even clients' signatures are routinely forged. Even client signatures are routinely forged. What this part's talking about here is obviously a 50% mental health rating or 70% mental health rating or 100% rating is going to yield the biggest profits, which is why Veterans Guardian is aiming at, allegedly aiming at mental health as a disability. Okay. Scrolling down here, I'm not going to read all of this here, but looking at the Federal Claims Act. So this is not Title 38. Okay, this is Federal Claims Act, something completely different. The Federal Claims Act imposes liability on any person who knowingly presents or causes to be presented a false or fraudulent claim for payment or approval. That's what this thing here is alleging. Knowingly makes, uses, or causes to be made or used a false record of statement material to a false or fraudulent claim, or knowingly makes, uses, or causes to be made or used, this is kind of hard to read, a false record or statement material to an obligation to pay or transmit money or property to the government, or knowingly conceals or knowingly and improperly avoids or decreases an obligation to pay or transmit money or property to the government. So that's Federal Claims Act, okay? This is an absolute big deal. Now, this is a little old from 2020. This was just sent to me via LinkedIn. And while Relator was employed at Veterans Guardian, here we go. We're approximately 20 intake personnel handling veteran calls, all the headquarters in Pinehurst. By the time she left in August of 2019, the company had plans to hire 15 more. The intake process was carefully designed to, 1, successfully enroll as many veterans as possible, 2, facilitate completion of the application process quickly and efficiently, if possible within 2 days, 48 hours, of the veteran's encounter with the company's designated psychological examiner. All right. After speaking with the veteran for several minutes, the claims strategist, who generally had no background in diagnosing mental illness, would decide which diagnosis the veteran should be given. Virtually every veteran was designated as either depressed. Most of the clients were diagnosed as depressed or suffering from PTSD. This is the fraud piece here. Not every veteran is depressed. Not every veteran has PTSD. Not every combat veteran is going to have PTSD, especially at 50% or higher. That's the indications of fraud here, that almost everyone is coming out of Veterans Guardian with depression or PTSD, specifically secondary to chronic pain. Okay. Now, again, am I saying if you use Veterans Guardian that you're a fraud? No, I'm not saying that. Obviously, tons of veterans are actually depressed or have PTSD and use Veterans Guardian, but not every single one. Okay. It kind of makes you wonder. You'll see comments of people, see if I can say this right, blaming others for having 100% when they quote unquote don't deserve it. This is what that makes me think of, because everyone is depressed these days, especially those who came out of Veterans Guardian. Okay. This document is saying that. That's what it's saying. And that's pretty much it. Okay. I'm not going to read this entire thing, but it is absolutely huge. And it shows some proof down below. It has DBQs and all kinds of stuff filled out, statements, tons of documentation here, just all types of stuff. The reason this is most shocking to me is the person worked for Veterans Guardian, was retaliated against, and pretty much said, okay, you want to retaliate against me? I'm going to retaliate against you. And now here we see this. This was just sent to me this week. So let me know your thoughts below. Not really on claims consulting companies in general, but I want to know your thoughts on VA disability claims companies, specifically targeting mental health because you can't x-ray it, okay? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just want to know your thoughts on that. Is every single veteran 50% or higher for mental health? Veterans Guardian thinks so.